Welcome, I'm Gary Parr, Editorial Director, Efficient Plant Magazine. We're here at AVEVA World 2022. Our guest this time, Peter Herweck, CEO of AVEVA, and our topic is going to be AI, VR, all of that. Yes. So we got to do a tour of the expo at AVEVA World last night, and took us through digital twins and data and how all that's handled through your systems, all the systems. But we ended with the goggles on for the virtual reality. And I've done that before, but I've never had the experience like I did last night with the so immersive, so realistic. So talk about that, the power of that AI, augmented reality, as it all comes together to help people better run their plants. We talk an awful lot about maintenance and reliability, that whole thing. But top to bottom, that kind of technology is difference making.
Absolutely, Gary. So if you think about it, what's the foundation to be able to build what we call the industrial metaverse? And it may be a little bit of a buzzword, but since you started off with the immersive experience, I think it requires data availability in respect to operational data, engineering data over time, plus the digital twin. And the digital twin can be a process twin, it can be the twin of the asset, it can be the electrical twin. But what you have is a 3D experience of the process or the plant and so forth. Now you bring this together and add the experience for the user, and there may be different users, and we can talk about those. Then all of a sudden, this may make a lot of sense to them, because you could, if you think about it, if you're sitting, you're in the maintenance department and it says, I have a problem here and I need to send somebody on site. I'd like to see how that all looks like. And you can assist the person who's going to go on site through a metaverse experience where you see in 3D the plant, you have the current engineering data to it in 1D, 2D, 3D, the P&ID information, the operational data. You may even have real-time pictures that come in it, and you see all of this immersively and then support somebody who's on site. It makes a lot of sense. And that's for the maintenance engineer. But you may want to have the same for somebody who does the construction. And I says, I'd like to see how that would look like in a more real life experience. How much space do we actually have in between pipes? Do I have space for another set of panels, or can I put a larger transformer in here? Well, you can do this in the engineering system, but if you want to kind of beam yourself into the plant, you could actually look at it and see the implications to it that you may not see in the engineering system. Yeah. So I think while a little bit futuristic today, but if you fast forward a couple of years from now, we will see this at our clients, and actually we have the first concrete interest of clients that say we'd like to build something in the next 18 months.
Yeah, well, and that was the other thing that we talked about in the tour, was the ability to analyze a facility remotely. And you start to think about all the air miles that get eliminated, all the wasted hours that get eliminated, yet you're there realistically. And then, as you pointed out, someone who's going to work in that environment could be there virtually and say, I can't do that. You need to move this, there's not enough room, it's not safe. All those things can happen before it's too late.
Yeah, so I think they're, limitless is a big word, but the opportunities are humongous in that regard, in creating a productivity, in increasing safety, and making folks much more effective in what they're doing, decreasing the amount of failures that one has, and from that perspective, all of that is helpful for our clients.
Right, right. And then also the ability to send someone to make a repair fully equipped.
Oh, absolutely. I've been just talking about this with somebody a half hour back. If we're going back 5 years, people would say, if I, for example, need to go into a chemical plant and I'm in a sensitive area where where there may be the risk of explosions and so forth. People would come with a lot of documentation and so forth. They would go there and then they realize they're missing something, so they take the bicycle back into the documentation room,
Yep.
Pick up more documentation and go back there. Maybe the first time they only go and look. And today in modern plants, they have everything at their fingertip, including real-time data on what's exactly going on where they are. So a good example is I visited one of the oldest refineries on the planet a couple of months back in Asia, and the head of the refinery said, I just ordered 700 iPads plus the respective explosion-proof and covers that come with it. We've established a Wi-Fi in the complete plant and so forth. Look at all of those expenses, without having any digital twin or any software deployed yet. But you can see the value that can be generated in doing that, because he's able to give every person in the company the right data at the right time to make the best possible decision in the shortest time possible. And so that's of course a large company that does that rollout, but you can see the financial commitment that all of a sudden is behind. It's not only our piece of software, but there is usually 3x, 5x more that goes into a digital transformation.
Right. Yeah, which for some can be scary, but and that's when I look at small and mid-sized companies, that alone could frighten them, but then, okay, maybe that investment will help level the playing field and help you operate at a different level. What are we making it approachable for the smaller companies?
Oh, I think absolutely. I've just, again this afternoon, have sat together with a technical engineering service provider, and we've been talking about how can we scale the, for lack of a better word, the digital twin of an asset for a brownfield. So the idea is you go there, you digitize all documents, you digitize with a point cloud the asset because you don't have a digital model. Then with an AI, you read the documents, you're able to tag it to the PLCs or the DCS system that is there, and so we will be trying to offer kind of build a digital twin as a service for for those companies, where one can say, this is roughly what it's going to cost you. And from experience in other plants where we've done it, we can also tell you what the value creation possibility is, and then very important is, of course, what's the payback period, so the return on the invested capital.
So they can make an informed decision and not feel like they have to hire a whole bunch of IT and OT people to pull it off.
Well, they're hiring those as a service, if you will.
Right.
And you also need to have your own people, because it's not. It's a transformation. It's not only about the technology, but it's also the way that people will work in the future, because there is no documentation room anymore, for example. So they need to they need to use the tools. We need to help enable them to use the tools. But I think that's where it's going to go.
Yeah, yeah. What was it, PDS or digitized paper?
Yeah. PDF, the digitization of paper. Yeah.
Right, yeah, that really, that said it all.
Yeah.
That was good, yeah. So, okay, then the other part of that tour, and really the core of that tour, was data.
Yeah.
And the importance for everyone to establish a data foundation. And the message I kept getting was, you may not know what you're going to do with it 5 years from now, 10 years from now, but the smart move right now is to get your data organized, understand what you have, understand what you need.
Absolutely agree. And you know, today I think we know what we're doing with it. But if we're going back 2 or 3 years when we are in the process of acquiring always iSoft, I was with a couple of clients at the time, and I was asking them, so you guys, you're using the Pi system? And they say, yeah, we're using the Pi system since 20 years, and we're collecting the data since 20 years. And I said, so what do you do with the data? And the guy looked at me, he was, I don't say whether he was IT or OT, but
yeah, don't start that fight.
No. But he said, I don't know, but let me get back to you. So he didn't know, but there is, I mean, it's a gold mine. If you have this in a structured way across your plants, across your operations, and not only the operational data, but then also the engineering data to it. And that's kind of the evolution. The operational data we've been starting to store, historize, contextualize much longer. That hasn't been done on the engineering side. But our asset information management is the fastest growing software that we're having at the moment, because people want to bring those together and then kind of have the digital thread of their asset. And we know use cases that can help clients. That's why I say this is the data is the raw diamond. And then we're gonna, and others will furnish applications that help to polish the diamond or create jewelry out of it. Typical use cases are predictive predictive maintenance, or prescriptive maintenance, where we know on assets what to do. Not only that they fail, when they will fail, why are they failing, and what is it that we need to do that they're not failing, so we can replicate this over other asset families that we have. That's a use case that's there, and you know, while it's not going to reduce your cost, but it reduces the amount of money that you spend, because it's not gonna happen. And with that, you can also increase output. So the savings is humongous in that case. You can do simulations based on historic data, looking forward in real time, how you how you navigate, if you will, your operations to get a higher yield or a less CO2 footprint. So there are plenty of those use cases there, but all are based on a solid data. We haven't found the real word for it. Is it infrastructure or is it platform? Or is it the data fabric? Anyway, there is that contextualized, structured, time-bound information there that helps to make an informed decision with the right a tool, then, if you will.
Where are we at in that learning curve? Are people, for the most part, realizing how important it is to collect the right data and know what it is, or are we still educating?
No, so we've done a little bit of a survey ourselves with a couple hundred CEOs out of the industry where we're active, and they do have a totally solid understanding. They also have a solid understanding of how much data they have, whether they use the full potential of it, or what's the potential is that they're using, and what they ought to be doing. It's just a question of how much can be done at a certain point in time without disrupting also the operations, and also people available who can do it. It's a transformation. You know, 30 years ago we knew we would need to implement an ERP system, but you couldn't do all ERP systems at the same time in the world. It required also change of process, change of capabilities of the people, and so forth. So I think we're in many industries at those further ahead at those points, but the people, we see the potential, because not only one system, but there are many and many use cases.
Yeah, yeah. All right, very good, Peter. Thank you.
Thank
Good
you
insights.
very much.
Yep. Very good.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thanks very much.
All right.